Yeah, Baba. Yeah, Baba. It's neat.
Hello, Temo femo yote mi pe mo femo kemba ngmene ni femo oyi wala don wa ake ofebe ni ngmene nwe wabana sanigba ingbeji ni tete obobi ashon ni tete TV jino ni okwo ni ye shiba mi bo mode ni oja ni femo ni okenha me ni ameba fita woyi koni wo weku yado ni eda ngmene nkabo ya Gbawe ni ami kenye ba akaye over the weekend in wo fe show nke egbo ake sanji nkome ya no Gbawe no wo ini ne hye wojie komano for one side so mani ole no ni one side there call the other side there akemi ake ameka me response bako ka ameka me response ba nini ne hye no bon no ma ani ole inko bo ake bia wo betim A ni wo betim B won sumo ni wo shine light on ni bi ni ya no gandangbe magia cheme ke lumu asani ni eton wa Achilles heels because wonyeko wamo wo magia chema sanjimi ni wo ba ye anokwale ye wo lumu ayeli mie wo dane be tema kelete be ke nibi ni sanishkwe wo focus on ni ekeno ya baba wo focusing on na kan nibi ye ni neke lumu asande ni anokwale yeli elaji ye wo sate ekewo yase bena kuche ikekpopa anu enkome ya yin amen wele lumu ya anu kwale mi ni afe ni bi ni ba wa amen ma ka me popa anu woda ne wonu fe ne fe basa ne ani woni bi yase lo ngmene nka bo ba gba Gbawe magia cheme Mantse sande ni ya anu ye Gbawe now mi panye fai icheme ni Yogan Traditional Council cheme mi mbanye fe nye do manye nye binu nzamba tabie ko mi monye na jin ke ale no ni na abu ya tenoko na esa na eto ihe kan mi pafa ye shiba mi to moboni da ne nko nye gandangbe no ya ewo ini fe mo ne mba ni nkba wa mba ni nkba fiteni cheme mi panye fa a na shende yake akesane ko eba danye ni ji Gbawe Mantse sane ne ya shiba mi cheme nye kan na echa cheme ni Yogan Traditional Council mi panye fai nye ka ni echa nye yi asane ni nyani anukwale ayekunim nye ka ha ni gbomo adesan yekunim shimo nyani anukwale ayakunim nye kwa asane emi aje ina anyone ipartner ne mene nsu olo ni akagma afa ni akwesani emi na ya no kwale boni afa ni to enjole kano ya ka shole mu abagbawe maami nyani anukwale awinia boni afa yi no bi konklome ni baba totomo akafe ameno shimo ameba kwa anukwale ye no ni amewo ameke ba tuni ni amewo ameke ba kro amema koni Gbawe ma to a larger extent gandangbe ma afa ya no na ehwele wole ake sanjie pi ekome kamonye yin na fi baba o ne wacha numo la akoti adu awushi sane e kajo Yogan Traditional Council afi baba o ne aye kolo ni eyemobo aketa flache one of your core functions ake lumwe ni Yogan Traditional Council jiake keji nekema agia saneteshie nye ba kwe ko nye kwe ni nye yue shika ke sanjie badamonye alo akeba nye kwa ishi ejeme ebe kanshi afi baba o atae keke ashishi me komene sana ashishi ame ke aye me koma min ne sana yoma min so nchebe ni Yogan Traditional Council ekome ku enye binu mi panye fai Gbawe bi asane ne eba kanye yi nye bo amoden nye tar nye kan ne ya afi abo na tai nke shiche numo la koti adu awushi esane e kan Traditional Council lo atako eponike nu shishi ba ke wo nke ya ne kegbe nke fe na ke ekano ya ke shole mo ba so cheme ye shiba mi ekome ko mi panye fai nye bo amode ni sanene nye ya aka ni dan ke no ngle wini shimo ani anukwale awini sanene aka ni dan ke no ngle yekunim ani anukwale ayekunim koni twenjo le kashishino mo aba kenye gbena ni mokonu shishie mo next step ene ba nye ke ya ne ke ya mi panye fai wa adenche now ya woboti ami now magia chamenyo ingegme screen eno ini ne jiro ne manchani oje egbeji ni boy kojo ni ji enyo efe mageleji me ni nyeti ami pi nyele ake leji gbawe manche now yembe kugbe lewu egbeji ni mensanfio ni ji enyo now chame enyo na eni onane enyo abi ji ame now manche ni boy kojo ni ji enyo papa ji ni Adam kwate kwoti mo fe mo chola ake alhaji ni Adam kwate kwoti mo fe mo chola ake alhaji ni mensafio ni ji enyo lewu eche ni wole egbeji ni kwe mensa kwoti ni kwe mensa kwoti tumombo ni nkobwe ne keche me enyo ne ni ncha megbe ne ni Adam kwate kwoti ni leji ni boy kojo ni ji enyo papa ke ni kwe mensa kwoti ni leji ni mensanfio ni ji enyo papa amefe amejamusun komemi mami kome ke papa kome bi ji chei enyo ne ni ncha megbe abwe ni ame bi enyo ne impele manche yeli ne so these are ye blofo mi obake first cousins jiabe amefe amena kome ke ameni ekome je solo je mene eninyemi jimene ni alo mene enanyemi jimene na shimon ya mechema se ameni nkome kamena kome ono ni ncho so obabio yake te balete ni gbeme ni la tokpa kome mi ameje ni negeno koba now cheme enyo ne ni ncha megbe abwe ni ji ni Adam kwate kwoti ni leji ni boy kojo ni ji enyo papa ke ni kwe mi nsan kwoti ni le leji ni mi nsan fi oni ji enyo papa amefe ameche eye gbawe manchedan ameche leji ni boy kojo ni ji kenklen ni boy kojo ni ji kenklen le emusumbi ji cheme enyo ne na me bi mpele manche yeli ne here so ni boy kojo ni ji kenklen enabi na me peli o manche yeli ne here Gbawe now ani na no shake ni boy kojo egbo in the 60s so babio yake te balete ni nabi enyo ni amempele manche yeli here. They are both entitled to it because clearly latokpa kome mi ameje. So I'm afraid they are deserving of becoming Gbawe manche. Shimon no ko yegeme ni lawsuit ni afaile bagbla na kan ni mi fe eyambo no e woni ne kesane ne efes once again intake his sides ken gba no ko ye bia ni je na kan ye twami ko document aba mangme bogbe ni bodi encho oba gbla mi ko sumo ni yuo ko sumo no oba gbla mi nwe bu ko document ami boni ni na ehye ekono ni matabi ani makane game make no ni document e yue no juno ni ma yue bon ko no ba ma fele na kan pepepe ma abo we you anukwale wo betting A wo betting B anukwale pia juno ni watawo boni afa ni ga efe mi ni eya no ni ehwele now ni Adam kwate kwoti ni mo fe mo chole alaji nke picture igmeshi. Mind you, lebiji ni boy kojo ni jienyo. Now, wachene ni ebiji ni boy kojo ni jienyo. Leno ji jaseche. E boy jase yeli kaja 1973. So, le jaseche ni leno ji che le dienche eto emusumbi manche jemi nke nye fine nyeka ya anya aka ni tete ke wojie ni makane ma abue na kan wojie ke na kete kote ke je na kan ni ne ke na je mu lawyer say file am a response to ne ke suit ne matabia je ke na kam no fe no na mo me ba file ma matabia ni makane pepepe ma abu she according to lawsuit any makane wacha jaseche niji ni Adam kwate kwote ebi noji ni boy kojo niji enyo so le jaseche ni ebato manche eto le di enche bi ake manche ye Gbawe. Now akemi wake Gbawe manche ni egbo 2020 egbeji ni laye family nte niji enyo ni laye family nte niji enyo egbo in 2020 akemi ake woche ni Adam kwate kwoti ni ona picture ye mfoni ne no ni mo fe mo fo le chemo ake alaji le no ji moni eto ni laye family nte niji enyo ke atabia mi ni echonse in 2020 ni echonse ni ebato manche ni eto le dienje ebi ni elumogbe ni akenhale ji ni boy kojo ni ji enyo. Now tomobe no liye wekufie wekue eda ni Gbawe ake ma je weku komepe yo mi weku short yemi moko ba ke bu ake clans ni yo je me edwe me kume unke enumo me kume unke ekpa chi nano li ake there are several clans ye Gbawe. Mind you, now lawsuit ni enemy mama kane ma bo ne ba gbla ni bia mi etun buwe all the other clans ni amefe ekome na ame file ne ke lawsuit ne against wache ni Adam kwate kwoti ke ebile ni achole ni boy kojo ni jienyo ofane noni mingbe amoni nke babo num shujudu ba. So all the other clans ke principal elders ke family heads ni yo Gbawe amiye amechimo amefe ekome ni amete ama file ne ke lawsuit ne ye ga traditional council against ni Adam kwate kwoti ke ebinu ni achole ni boy kojo ni jienyo ni amonton ne lewu eye Gbawe manche ona boni ni eyo ni tamoboni iwe kechon yi ejin solemu ake the gan traditional council ame dan ke nongle awini shi ame bani anukwale ayekuni bona fe ni yino konklo ni baba amedumo na kan anukwale emi na me ke kura Gbawe koni Gbawe aya hie ne shole fe boni Gbawe yo ni chame ekobe kwa mi panye fai sanene nyika na echa the Gan traditional council must get to work sanjie pi fire gemechon ni ke okwe eye afi baba o ni atakowi case in point nke ba ke wache numo la akoti ado awishi case kanje mo lo afi baba o atakowi keji atai ni wona na bene watan ekonu oba aka ke we na ewulo menyo because abaye sani e kemo konu ehihie ene ekbaye ba femini ekbaye kata benimo e ba exhaust every legal means available to le eke wo fe ekome eke wo kwe wo yin no now Miniji no ni lawsuit ne ke ni nkane it's very very interesting. Nibi ni te no nibi ni ame aver bolencho ba na ke it's quite interesting. Ona so nka bo ba share koni ona no ni ya no tumo beni nko obo plaintiff say niji be meni amekesane ete meni ama sama amena yuemo ikanibi na ametawo kanibi ni amekọ alo ame nsusu aka gan traditional council FA ame no no na ameke neke lawsuit na ete no jino ni mimba ni makane ma abone ekomekom meni aya sama me niji be wache ni Adam Kwate kwote ke binu ni Achole Rauf kwote ni Elumogbeji ni boy kojo ni jienyo keji amewu ameka abe na jiemo ba mamba matabia ni makane fe mahabo pepepe nke wontawa no kwale wo betim A wo betim B esani gan aye ni gan ahwele ni wo kedi ini ne sha me response no mamba matabia ni kedi ame response fe ko ready ni ame ba sumo waka me ban channel ne no ni bia ni your lawsuit mi ame yue he beka magna ame gbam ni ameba yue mako madumo neke wolone no ni nkwa bia me sanjie ni meni ke neke sama mane ba ne koni na agye mu na ame yo ameke ba so now in the first one me screen no habo ke okwe a file neke suit ne ye gan traditional council ye judicial committee here 19th March 2025 so last week a file neke no ko name 19th March 2025 now suit number GTC GC3/25 so will read meaning into it. They got traditional council, the judicial committee 3 in the year judicial committee March 2025. So suit number no it's very very I don't know. I know the third one 3 and don't need but there you have it. Now make sanenete in the matter between number 1 Theophilus Ayite Ayi. Namoji Theophilus Ayite Ayi legit plaintiff number 1. Legit kingmaker and senior principal elder of Tete Ame clan. So onake clan ekome ne Theophilus Tete Ayi legit the kingmaker, legit the senior principal elder. So ko Tete Ame clan ye Gbawe ye ame onukpa ni damo ame na legit plaintiff number 1. Namoji plaintiff number 2. Na kwati oko kwoti. Na kwati oko kwoti. Le umini jigbenani eyo Gbawe. Legit kingmaker and head of family. Pakpan clan. So na kwati oko kwoti. Nidi plaintiff number 2 ke oshe Pakpan clan ye Gbawe legit ameweku icho lenoji kingmaker. Plaintiff number 3. Egbeji Heward Joel Odate Mills. Heward Joel Odate Mills. My name is I'm a Chele Ghana. Joel. I'm a child. Blencha framing mono. Calling Numaka Benincho Egbe Naka. So plaintiff number 3. Heward Joel Joel Odate Mills nakawachole dia leoleji kingmaker and head of family Lante clan. Leji kingmaker and head of family Lante clan. Plaintiff number 4 Egbeji Ebenezer Saki leon miniji egbenani eyo Gbawe kingmaker and principal elder of Odate Lante clan. Hello Odate Lante clan. Number 5 Mohammed ni ama boy. Mohammed ni ama boy legit family secretary kan ni laye Tomakbe. All of house number 1 Gbawe Chief Palace ni laye Tomakbe we Gbawe Accra. So ke oshe Tomakbe we I guess the various clans ni yo Tomakbe we amonukpai ke amenye nyeloi jime ni ke sanenete the traditional council. Now na meji meni amasiu ejeme. Amasiu ni Adam kwate kwoti. Ni leji DJASETSE ye Gbawe bi ane. Egbe ni me for leche moji ake alaji. Now, na moji second defendant say egbeji Rauf kwoti. Ni elumogbeji ni boy kojo ni jienyo. Nke buake ni boy kojo ni jienyo. E papa DJASETSE. So DJASETSE ko ebi ni eye Mantse ye Gbawe. Now, ke okwe wolu eshishin. Okay, please cause to be issued at the instance of petitioners hearing a read against the respondents and make same returnable at your earliest convenience. So now, military capacity ni amekesio. Number 1. Eke the petitioners are royals of Ni Laye Tomakpe family, with the first to fourth petitioners being kingmakers. So ka oshe Ni Laye Tomakpe weku emiye plaintiff kaja number 1 ke agbe number 4 ameji kingmakers ye Ni Laye Tomakpe weku ni yo Gbawe. Now being kingmakers, principal elders, head of family, family heads, and principal elders respectively, representing their various clans, and the fifth petitioner being the family secretary, and bring this action for and on behalf of themselves and the Ni Laye Tomakpe royal family of Gbawe. So ame trombo ame capacity akeke oshe Tomakpe weku ye Gbawe ameji hiye nyeloi weku yichi konupai ni yo nakai weku mi. Now nya wachano many asiwe mwe inche inyabomo ni Adam kwate kwoti ni achola ake alaji leno Gbawe DJASETSE ke ebinu lelenche ebinu ni eyelumo ake Gbawe Mantse bi ane egbeji ni boy kojo niji enyo inke ambo noji noni onaye jemene ani wakwe noni sanie ke. Now miniji am a statement of claim inke me screen there no ni makande ni wofe wakwe eke botwe. The first plaintiff is a kingmaker of Gbawe traditional area and is a senior principal elder from the Tete Ame clan. So a trouble plaintiff number 1 there Egbenani Eyo ye Gbawe. The second plaintiff is also a kingmaker of the Gbawe traditional area and is the head of family ye Kpakpa clan. So kosh Kpakpa clan I'm a kingmaker ke ame wekuicho the second plaintiff leji mami kome nifita ame. The third plaintiff is also a kingmaker of the Gbawe traditional area and is the head of family for Lante clan. Ke oshe Lante clan ye Gbawe ni ame plaintiff niji ete meni kesani ete ete no ni yo mi leun leji onupa ni eyo Lante clan mi. Number 4, the fourth plaintiff is also a kingmaker of the Gbawe traditional area and is a principal elder from the Odate Lamte clan. Menike sanji ete monika no nije dre leun leji Odate Lamte wekue leji principal elder ni yejeme be wokunupa jile yejeme. The fifth plaintiff is the family secretary of Ni Laye Tomakpe royal family of Gbawe. Noni moni chano niji enumo leji ame wolongmalo Ni Laye Tomakpe wekue leji ame wolongmalo. Number 6 the first, second, third, fourth plaintiffs are royals amefe hailing from Laye Tomakpe family, with the fifth plaintiff being the family secretary. So 1 to 5 no jinoni as summarize ni akewo number 6 now miniji noni eke the plaintiff brings this action as royals of Ni Laye Tomakpe family, with the first to fourth petitioners being kingmakers, principal elders, head of family, head of families, and principal elders respectively, representing their various clans, and the fifth petitioner being the family secretary, and bring this action for and on behalf of themselves and the Ni Laye Tomakpe royal family of Gbawe. So pretty much it repeats noni wakani yakon. Number 8. The plaintiffs averse that the village was handed down to the family from their great ancestors. So, call Gbawe history, ofane botu agbene, abanaba chobo, bonifeni anagbawe, kemeni atojeme kenklen. The plaintiffs averse that the village was handed down to the family from their great ancestor, Ni Guate the first, aka Ni Pakman Osiakwan the first, alias Obofo Yepa Yepa ofane nyekekiami kenche egbe ojugba obanyo send me voice note no show me boni acholo ojugba Obofo Yepa efema boli boni chole jenaka, who was married to an Obutu woman na yani ede and had settled on the land. So I chono gwake nana shushu egbe ji ni gwate ni ji kenklen ni elumogbe ji ni papa osi akwan ni ji kenklen ni eke Obutu yo yinshi ni achole na ya ni ede ni ameba to Gbawe ma. The ancestors later gave his daughter na Akramashi to his nephew Laye Tomakpe. So ona any Tomakpe wekueje, aka Ni Laye Famlinte, and gave them the land for they and their descendants to settle on. Laye Tomakpe, so amebi yo ameke boli nakanta ame boli boni yale akame nephew ko no inshi boni afe ni boli akipi no fenu eweku eme. Laye Tomakpe and na Akramashi gave birth to Papa. So Laye Tomakpe ken na Akramashi amefo binu na amewole Papa na amefo ko kwatei Aswansa and Kwakwe and other siblings. So amefo BP. These are all descendants of the Laye Tomakpe family who settled and continue to occupy the Gbawe Stool and its lands. So ona any Gbawe eje. So ke ole mene minkabofe wakase noko ni Guate ni ji kenklen leno elumogbeji ni pakpan osi akwan ni ji kenklen egbe konklo ni me for le chemo unji Obofo Yepa alo Obofo Yepa I don't know who was married to. So lenwe ko butu yo ishi ni achole na ya ni ede ni amame yato Gbawe Chieftancy ni ameshwe jino ni eino ahun ke batabi ane. The plaintiff averts that Laye Tomakpe family therefore consists of many family branches in Gbawe, including the Quartes, the Lamtes, Tete Ames, the Abbes, the Quays, the Amas, and Midie Tei. So achono kwake tumobeno na Tomakpe wekune ni Laye Tomakpe wekune maypi yeshishi. Maypi yeshishi. So achombo no kwake Quartes Laye Tomakpe amino ameje. Lamtes Laye Tomakpe amino ameje. Tete Ames Laye Tomakpe amino ameje. Abebiye Laye Tomakpe no amino ameje. The Quays Laye Tomakpe no amino ameje. The Amas Laye Tomakpe no amino ameje. Agbene media tei amo amefe ameje Laye Tomakpe no mi. So weku ine fe no na shwe kome bi ne afe aun ni anale shorte shife beme kome latokpan kome amefe ameje mi. Now, the plaintiffs averse that the village of Gbawe was founded by Guate's son Osiakan and alias Obofo Yepa, who came with the Gan people from the Gwa Hill and settled at Pacha Koli in Asre. You find a kenche ne wojugba kekemi. So achono kwake wache ni Guate ebi Osiakan ni mofe mochole Obofo Yepa le efita gamai ni aje Gwa ile keba ni ameba settle ameba yinshi Pacha Koli ye Asre ili akemi nchele ojugba nyekeki ami inye ma asre me. Now, number 11, the plaintiffs averse that the said Osiakwan is the owner and founder of the Gbawe land and village. So Osiakwan ni papaji ni Gwa ni ji kenklen ni Guatei ni ji kenklen leji moni ebato Gbawe Chieftancy. It is the exclusive property of the descendants of Ni Laye Tomakpe, son of Guatei Asasi Hini, the occupant of Gamashi Stool, known as Gan Akwashon Stool in 1675. 5. Bona. So a chombo no gwake akwashon yeli ball yake no wo jeme aseme pe wo gan akwashon abo naka historical ni ne jeme. Now number 12. The plaintiffs averse that the occupant of the Gbawe stool has always been a descendant of Nilaye Tomakpi. Indeed, the former chief of Gbawe, Nilaye Famlinte II, was named after Laye Tomakpi, who is Nilaye Famlinte I, who was also an occupant of the Gbawe stool. So I mean, chono gwake Nilaye Tomakpe wekue manche ni atuoye Gbawe ejo Nilaye Tomakpe wekue mi. Amena ame tuo manche. So I mean, chono gwake even manche ni egbo in 2020 ni achole Nilaye famlinte ni jienyo lewu Laye Tomakpe wekue nomi no eje. No, I mean, kebake abana nwake ato mokonwu na chole Nilaye famlinte ni jikenkle lewu eje Laye Tomakpe weku emi no so ame weku emi ye Gbawe manche nomi atoye. The plaintiffs averse that after the death of Nikpakpa Osiakwan II in 1979, the first defendant, who was DJASETSE sometime in 1973, became acting manche, and sometime 1994 he installed Nilaye Famlinte II as Gbawe manche from 1994 to 2020. So, Nikpakpa Osiakwan niji enyo egbo 1979. Biamini egbo 1979 moni yo DJASETSE amlone niji ni Adam kwa taikwotie leno ji DJASETSE ye nakan biami. Now, act as manche kebata 1994 ni eto manche konklon ni etun sene ni egbe elumogbeji ni Laye family teniji enyo ni egbo 2020 ne. So obana ke wache eye DJASETSE eche keje 70 se minton ni ebo DJASETSE yeli. So ni manche egbo in 79 le act as manche kebata 94 dani eto wache ni Laye family teniji enyo ni lewu echunse in 2020. Now, the plaintiffs averse that after the death of Nilaye Famlinte II and the stool became vacant, the first defendant once again became acting manche for Gbawe from 2020 to 2022 and installed his son Raoul Kwoti alias Niboy Kojo II as purported chief of Gbawe. So I mean chono gwake ekome konwe ni Nilaye Famlinte ni jienyo Gbawe manche ni egbo in 2020 wache ni Adam kwate kwate ni leno DJASETSE act as Gbawe manche from 2020 kata 2022 ni eto ledienche emusumbi ni achole Raoul Kwoti. Alo Raouf if I make Raouf Kwoti alias ni boy kojo ni jienyo no bia de legimoni ya ame lawyer ni ma purported chief of Gbawe. Bona. So mind you, atole somewhere around 1973. Mancheni yo na kan time egbo 79. Ne egbo 79 wache ni Adam kwate kwoti act as manche kebata 1994 keje 79 act as manche kebata 1994. 1994 ne to Nilaye Famlinte ni jienyo ake Gbawe manche. Nilaye Famlinte ni jienyo eye Gbawe manche keje 94 kebata 2020 ni echonse. Ni echonse ni Adam kwate kwoti niji Gbawe DJASETSE mofemo fole chemo ake alajiye act as Gbawe manche ekon from 2020 to 2022 ni eto ledienche bi ni achole Raouf Kwoti ake Gbawe manche. So le DJASETSE no eto ledienche bi ake manche. Now ani wachano wakwe ni siuteke ekon. The plaintiff averse that even during the lifetime of Nilaye Famlinte II, the first defendant made several attempts at coup to oust the legitimate king from the stool. So I mean chono kwake even be amini ni la family ntani jenyo etasen no le nche waja se chene efe no ni e ba fe ye wale mi ni e ba fa ni la family nte ni ji enyo yesen no je mi nke many make neke sama mone te amena me kwa ke even between 1994 ke 2020 ni la family nte ye manche wache jase chene efe no ni e ba fe ni manche ye ye ni la family nte ni ji enyo de 16 that the first defendant has all material times envisaged an agenda to solely control, dominate, and impose his Islamic religion and has substituted our traditional religious practices with Islam and is on the verge of Islamizing the Gbawe Stool and the Gekemi. That the first defendant has all material times envisaged an agenda to solely control, dominate, and impose his Islamic religion and has substituted our traditional religious practices with Islam and is on the verge of Islamizing the Gbawe Stool. So I'm in Chono Kwake, ye biani aminfe, wache etrayake le kometo eba control no feno, le kometo eba dominate no feno, le kometo eyuemo akabachuni, ebo mokotwe, ebo ngawotwe, noni le sumo, nojino ni esani mofemo afe, ete no au, ani Gbawe, manchayeli efe tumo Islam jamo, ake echake no feno, kusumi ake ame Gbawe me, kusumi ni amele, ni amenyeme ka amecheme shi, ye Gbawe seye, wachene, echake naka nibi efe, ne ani nibi efe, Islam jamo. Noni amekeni, Jaminke. Number 17. That the first defendant, being a fanatic Muslim, has built a mosque within the palace near the family traditional shrine and have used his agents and assigns to prevent the plaintiffs and other family members from performing customs and traditional rites. So, akani wachane, ejimokoni Islam jamo I mean 3D tumobeno na ninkane kenkle echake no fe no kusumi kenibi ni aliake Gbawe mechuo echake fe ne ani ni fe Islam jamo akeje na ka unpo shi emma solemohe kepete shrine tag gbachu, right? Emma solemohe kepete gbachuwe ni eyo palace inside there ni ekaye wonche ame pene ni mokomoko ba jama ke ba ne ba fe kusumi ni blema biye ke cheme ni bato Gbawe ameke ha me wochene ani ni biye fe Islam ni ekaye wonche ame megbe ni ababa ni abachu blema obo ade kusumi ni cheme ke shiame ani Islam jamo efe no ni egbe ma solemo chu kepete gbachuwe ni your palace. Now, the plaintiffs averts that the first defendant has demolished shrines and imposing his Islamic religion contrary to the customs, traditions, and usage of the people of Gbawe. Ake Jenny Emma Islam solemo chu kepete gbachuwe shimo demolish shrines but gbachuwe konkrome we ekumofe ashwe ni tumobona mewe kachonye Islamized Gbawe you know ga mbaleche money to me Islamized Gbawe ni twakebe cho Gbawe fe Hausa solemo man Gbawe kusumi fe ke nibi ni esani afe ke awajin ke jema wajin wochene eke wonche amekpene na me ani no fe no efe Islam jamo agbene gbachu konklome ni yo ekumofe ake demolish ekumofe alojen again demolish benon and imposing his Islamic beliefs contrary to the customs no mean blabwe. The plaintiffs averts that historically Gbawe is the principal place for the native fetish people and the prophets. Ni chwake tumoboni wali Gbawe chuchukwu ejemeji ni alo jemeji ni ake wajin ya keji achosi wajin ya jeme anima yuele nakai nke gbalo jemeji ni achosi ameye ni woni acho jeme Gbawe agba ye jeme Gbawe jemeji ni ake gbalo ya na ameya kasemu ameya ni kasemu jeme ke wajin acheme nwe aka ameya jeme ni ameya ni kasemu jeme. Number 20, the plaintiff avers that contrary to the customs, usage, practices, and traditions of Gbawe, when a stool is unoccupied, the DJASETSE becomes acting chief until a new chief is installed. The plaintiff avers that according to the customs, usage, practices, and traditions of Gbawe, when a stool is unoccupied, the DJASETSE becomes acting chief until a new chief is installed. So tumoboni walie keji ebali ake mokota seno ni ye manche le DJASETSE le bayano ni echu manche nuchumo ke atabi amini abana manche conclude. The plaintiff states that the DJASETSE on his own cannot abrogate to himself the powers and authority to unilaterally install anybody, and for that matter, his own son as a chief. Chono kwake eyemi mon akekeji anako manche DJASETSE ba anye yano ni echu manche nuchumo shimon no echu ake le kometo e ba anye ko ewale ehe ni le kometo eto manche akayue unkra ni e ba to le die nche emusumbi manche nakanjino ni ameke ye biem. 22. The plaintiffs avers that for the DJASETSE to install his own son as a chief is against the customs and traditions of the people of Gbawe and the entire Ga traditional area. Akele DJASETSE eba to le die nche musumbi ake manche no ameke ebe Gbawe kusumi mi ni je Gbawe kusumi mpo pe ni ebe shimon ake wogame DJASETSE eto le die nche bi ake manche nakanjino ni ameke amaka ne jeme kun chata. The plaintiff avers that for the DJASETSE to install his own son as a chief is against the customs and traditions of the people of Gbawe and the entire Ga traditional area. Tumoboni nkebo nake akele DJASETSE nile ebawo ebi ake manche Gbawe kusumi abena kanoko ni je Gbawe umpe shiye woga sate na kanoko eje noko ni afio mini afio. The plaintiffs say therefore that the process of the first defendant choosing and selecting the second defendant has never been a part of the process of selecting chiefs for Gbawe. No, I repeat the same thing. Nakaboli lawyer say nakai. Ni chwake akele DJASETSE eto le di enche bie eje no koni afe ye Gbawe down. Gbawe me etoko nakai noko down. 24. The plaintiff avers that the first defendant unilaterally nominated, elected, selected, and installed the second defendant, who is his biological son, contrary to the statutes, traditions, customs of the people of Gbawe traditional area. Benke ebo lawyer fu enake no ni wakani no ni ake le DJASETSE ekometo wale ne ke select le die nche bie ni ekemoko shina ye ekemoko epa ye ni nakano ebe Gbawe amekusumi ka amenife momi keji ebale manche womo ye Gbawe. The plaintiff avers that the first defendant has insulted his nabi jenakaini botu. The plaintiff avers that the first defendant has installed his own son Rauf Kwati as Boy Kojo II without recourse to the kingmakers, who are the representatives of the various clans of Gbawe traditional area, contrary to the customs and traditions of Gbawe traditional area. Ake wacha DJASETSE niji ni Adam kwate ni mofe mochole ake alaji eto ledi enchebi ni eke kingmakers be meni me ba ekome na metuo manche eka mete moko epa ye eka mete moko susu ye weku instruct ni yomi ni esani ame ahi mancheto mi yegbawe eka mete mokomoko pan eka mete mokomoko egba esani eka mete mokomoko susu ledi enche ni eteshi ke wale ni eto ebile ake manche ke ha gbawe. Now, awayano. Plaintiff avers that the installation of the second defendant by the first defendant as the chief of Gbawe is null and void, and he must be made to abdicate the stool with immediate effect without any hesitation, as it is an abomination and a sacrilege against the stool for the wrong person to sit on it. So I'm in chono kwake. Mantse ni wachaja che eto ebi nuwe esani afomi ni akekachuni ejake eji musubo ni nakajino na meke. It is an abomination and sacrilege. Eji musubo ni nke ni afe keshi sen ejake esani mokota seno ni nakaimo esani eyo manche no nakaino afomi. 27. The plaintiff avers that the installation of the second defendant by the first defendant is a breach of customs of the people of Gbawe and the traditional area, and the Honorable Judicial Committee should intervene to maintain peace and order in the family as envisioned by their forefathers. So I'm in chono wage tumoboni nchobwe ake wachaja chele dienche ewe musumbi nietole manche nakaino eje no koni esani amefe ni eke Gbawe bi akusumi ke gama muefe kusumi pagbi no Judicial Committee ye amekame awomi ni amefo nakaino mi boni afe ni to enjole aba because noni afe eje no koni cheme ni batoma eji no koni amesusunwe ni amepai. Plaintiffs say that the purported nomination and installation of the second defendant by the first defendant is contemptuous of the Laye Tokpe family, and the installation must be declared completely null and void ab initio and same set aside. Nichuake nekenu kone ni wache efe eji kinga contempt baba gaminte eji no koni eche Laye Tokpe wekue here atwa ni neketo ne ni eto ebine esani Judicial Committee amefomi nkla ni aka consider kla aka na kanoko poete no ab initio from the very get go, from the very beginning. It's a legal term. So naga esani amefie chema afomi nkla ni aka bule kla apo aka ye manchepo ona bonincho from the very get go aka kwale kla apo afomi right away ni awona achafon. Number 29, that the defendants must be made to pacify the good people of Gbawe and the Tomakpe family for such an abhorrent conduct. Okay, ani wachajaseche ke ebinue be amechu Gbawe BI ejake amewo Gbawe BI muji ni amewo Tomakpe wekueun muji ke amenife mone ni ame fene. So nibi ni ame avero ne. Now miniji reliefs ni ame siko miniji no ni agbene nwe ame case ne miniji no ni ame tawo ona no na ame avero ji nibi ni ame ndre ni no chon ake ene no ame dumo e wona ame ke lawsuit eba bona bodo ke nibi na ame tawo agbene ame reliefs ke remedies nibi na ame expect to ake aba fe ame no ji no ni wo ba kan ni. Now wherefore the plaintiffs claim against the defendant jointly and severally as per the reliefs and remedies sought. So nibi na me pagbe aka Judicial Committee ba fe ehame ba ye ehame. A declaration that according to the long established traditions of Gbawe, the position of chief is not to be single-handedly chosen by one person. Ake ye Gbawe kusumi ye ke atomanche je mokometo pe ke wale ke sumona ni to manche. Amen pa Judicial Committee ni a declare nakai noko. 2, a declaration that only persons hailing from ni Laye Tomekpe family ni Mlinte the first are qualified to be chiefs of Gbawe. Ake Mantse ke abatoe meni meje ni laye tomekpe weku emimpe jimeni esani ameta seno ni awuame Gbawe Mantse. A declaration that only the quarties, the lamtes, the tames, the abbes, the quays, the amas, and mediate clans constitute the appropriate lineage for the rotation and succession of chiefs for Gbawe. Ake weku ine ni nchefe quarties, lamtes, the tame, abe, the quays, the amas, and mediate ye ameji weku ami ni ajo ni awu Mantse a rotator ka jebi ka tebi ka jebi ka tebi a rotator ya je weku komepe ji weku nito Mantse. A declaration that the installation of the second defendant as chief of Gbawe is null and void and of no effect. Ake ayu ake Mantse ni wache DJASETSE etoe ake nakai no afomi eje ni papa no afomi. A declaration that the installation of the second defendant as chief of Gbawe without the knowledge, consent, and approval of the first, second, third, and fourth plaintiffs and other principal elders makes the said installation void ab initio. Nichwake ake neke to ne ni wache ne DJASETSE eto ledienche emusumbi Mantse ne mokomoko nye eto Mantse ni eke neke weku che ne ke neke onukpa ine fe ni yo Gbawe epa ne ka me susu mo ame e ka me susu e ni ame fe ame baba gbe pa mokome ni na kanjino ni wache fe e ka neke weku che ne ke weku ni pa ine fe ke neke onukpa ine fe ni yo Gbawe weku a short mi ni Mantse womo ko ame eku ebile na etu e ka me pa ne ka me susu ni ame fe ame ba ko gbe pa mo ne wona ke Mantse ni etu afomi from the very get-go, from the very beginning. Now, a declaration that the second defendant is also ineligible to even become a candidate for the chief of Gbawe, as far as the first defendant remains the DJASETSE of Gbawe. Ake, wache Rauf Kwati, ni bi anachole ni boy kojo ni jienyo, esa ni po akwole po ake mokoni ba anye ye Mantse eja ake echenye DJASETSE no na echenye DJASETSE esani po akwole ake mene esani wanye watole Mantse eja ake DJASETSE wo ebi Mantse na kajuno le amameke. Now an order for perpetual injunction against the first defendant from unilaterally electing, selecting, nominating, and installing a chief of Gbawe. Ake ning angmeno koni ekometo ke esusu mokometo ke nianshinu mokometo akayano ni eto Mantse eha Gbawe. So energy ni bi ni amakane na agbeno mabo. An order for perpetual injunction restraining the second defendant or his agents, assigns, privies, and representatives from holding himself out as the chief of Gbawe. Agbenu akeniu angme ni boy kojo ni jienyono ke wonchefe ake eka tuning ake Mantse eka nei ake Mantse eka fe ni ake Mantse ye Gbawe. Energy ni bi ni weku mene ni amekesani ete gan traditional council ni bi ni amebio ke ameke se ni amefe ne so nyeme kecheme ni nkwami mafo sani anye ani ye gan history mi DJASETSE ko enye eto ledienche emusumbi ake Mantse ni lo taflache gbege bi bi ojimi ken na fofosan ile so mimbi keji DJASETSE nyo etuo ledienche emusumbi ake Mantse ye ishibami nyani malio keji DJASETSE enyo ledienche etuo Mantse ni eke kingmakers tashi na basusuwe na ba pai na me ba gbe pa mokomie ye ishibami ye nyani malia keji DJASETSE nyo eto manche ni eke meni ke ebale manche toe esani eka me asusunwe ni eka me susunwe ni enyo ya no ni enyo yuemuwe ya ishibami chemekenyeme nke anye once again imbetim A imbetim B anukwale page no ni ba atwaga no ni meni ke sani eteye ni bi ni amengma no jino ni nkane ya boe keji woche DJASETSE ke ebi nuwe ameka me na jiemu ba miu matabie na kan no ni makande mabu ni wa follow case ne ye ga traditional council keche me enye ta no ni ame ya nukwale ni ameke judgment ba matabie ni makande mabu efe ni case ne ba share wolo ni ne ba share no ye case ne miye matabie ni makande mabu nya waka nukwale atwani shimie ika akeno na me yu anukwale ni shi ani DJASETSE no eto le die nche musumbi manchelo eji sande ni mimbi cheme kanyeme once again beke bi bioji mi kena fofosa nle gan kusumi mimbi ani DJASETSE no eto le die nche musumbi manchelo ani DJASETSE no eto le nche musumbi manchelo eji sande ni mimbi because that is what stood out to me yeneke no ko ni mi nkande ani DJASETSE ani ye gan kusumi ye DJASETSE nyo eto le die nche musumbi manchelo kedi anya afi ona kan cheme ganyeme nya animalia cheme hu ba tasane no ye traditional council ni wofe wo ba nana once again oyi waladon wa ake ofebi ni okwani fe mu ne nyuma job wa hade nche amale ke kutumpo kabla efite woni bi sane wo yi anukwale ni wo ka anukwale atuni koni gan eko mama papa ni ebu twa ni o manya afo no bye bye.
Yeah, Baba, it's neat. Them say you want to drop my